Welcome to English with Abby and Tori. I'm Abby, and today we will talk about 8 questions and how to respond to them like a native speaker. These 8 questions are very common in the English language, and today I will tell you how to respond like a native speaker. Usually, when you see these questions in a textbook, it will give you a specific textbook response that would maybe be considered grammatically correct or more polite. But in fact, that is not the way a native speaker would respond to these questions. So let's start with the first one right here. Do you want to come? Do you want to come? This question would be asked of you if someone was inviting you to do something. Maybe they wanted you to come over to their house to hang out. Maybe they wanted to go have dinner with you. Maybe it's like a group of people who are going somewhere for dinner and they're asking if you want to join. So they would say, "Hey, do you want to come?" And then you would respond as a native speaker. You could say, "Sure, that sounds great." Or, "Yeah, I would love to come." Instead of what a textbook would probably tell you, something like, "Yes, I would like to come." But a native speaker wouldn't say that. We would say something like, "Sure, that sounds great," or "Yes, I would love to come. Where are you going? Where can I meet you? What time should I be there?" Asking for more details after that if they haven't given them already. The next one is, how are you? How are you? This one, of course, is very common, especially when you just see someone outside maybe, or you're seeing someone for the first time and you're just saying a greeting and saying, "Hey, how are you?" And so it kind of could go 2 ways. Sometimes people ask this and they genuinely want to know how you are. And sometimes it's just a greeting and more of a formality, and they're not actually looking for a real answer. And so there are a couple ways you can respond to this as a native speaker. If someone asks me this, I usually say, "Oh, I'm good," or "Oh, I'm fine." And then sometimes I'll ask, "How are they?" as well. So I'll say, "Oh, I'm fine. How are you?" Or, "I'm good. How are you doing?" And it will just be that quick formality. You could also respond in a way where you actually explain how you're doing and say, "Oh, I'm having a hard day. This and this happened," or "I'm really good. This just happened. It was a great thing that happened." So it could really go either way if this is a genuine response or more of a formality where you just say, "Oh, I'm good," or "I'm fine," and then maybe ask how they are as well. The next one is, are you busy? Are you busy? And when someone asks this, usually it's within the context of they need you to do something for them, or they maybe want to ask you to go somewhere with them, something in that context. "Hey, are you busy?" Usually they'll be, "Hey, are you busy?" Usually if someone asks me this, I think that they need me to do something for them right in that moment. And so I would maybe say, they would say, "Hey, are you busy?" And I would say, "Oh, no, no, I'm not doing anything at the moment," because I assume they mean right now in this moment. And so I say, "No, I'm not doing anything at the moment." Or, "No, I'm not busy right now. What's up?" "I'm not busy right now. What's up?" So that would be if you're not busy. If you are busy, as a native speaker, I would say, "Oh, yeah, I'm waiting for a class to start," or, "Yeah, I'm in the middle of cooking dinner," or something. And then they would maybe say, "Okay, I'll talk to you later," or, "Okay, I'll ask you later," if they need you to do something for them. Or sometimes, like, a friend will ask this, they'll say, "Hey, are you busy?" And then we'll talk on the phone or have like a quick text conversation or something. And so it's, "Are you busy?" is very, very informal. Okay, and then this next one, "Do you understand?" Do you understand? This one would be asked after someone has explained something to you, or maybe given you directions of how to drive somewhere or how to do something. They would say, "Do you understand?" This I ask of my students a lot. I'll say, "Do you understand?" Or I'll say, "Does that make sense?" Two different ways of asking the question, just to make sure that they understand or it makes sense to them, just to have that really to have that confirmation. And so this one, you could respond by saying, yeah, that makes sense, or yeah, I understand. And so really this just needs a yes or no. If you don't understand, you can say, no, can you explain that again? Or no, I didn't catch that the first time. I didn't catch that the first time. It's a very informal kind of a slang way of saying, no, I did not understand. And then the next one, can you help me? Can you help me? And this one would be asked of you, of course, if someone needs your help with something. It could be anything, and it could be in the moment, or it could be later in the future at a different time. But if someone asks, can you help me? Then, so there of course are two ways to respond, either yes or no, very similarly to the others. So you could say, yeah, I'm free, what's up? Or yes, I'm available, what do you need? Or what do you need help with? Kind of asking those follow-up questions. And if you are not able to help them, you could say, no, I'm sorry, I'm not available. Or no, I'm sorry, can you ask someone else? Just so that they know you are not available, and just checking to make sure they have someone else that they can ask for help. The next one, what do you want to eat? What do you want to eat? This one could go, the meaning really could go a couple of different ways. It could be asking about like where you want to eat, what restaurant you want to eat at, or just the type of food you want to eat, which would again be referring to a restaurant, or and if you're going to cook dinner. It could be asking about the type of food you want to eat. It could also be asking about a specific type of meal. Like for example, if you had like lasagna or a different pasta or hamburgers or something more specific. But if we're talking about like a restaurant or a specific type of food, when someone asks, what do you want to eat? I would say, like Italian sounds good, or I could go for some pizza, or I really have been craving a hamburger, or maybe even a specific restaurant. Like I really want to have Chick-fil-A, or when I lived in Austin, we would eat Pint House pizza a lot. And so it could be a specific restaurant, it could be a specific type of food, it could be a specific dish of food. It really depends on the context of the question. And then the next one, do you know where it is? Do you know where it is? This, of course, would be someone asking where something is. It could be like something in your house that you're looking for, a specific object. It could be somewhere outside, like a store or a restaurant that you're looking for. And so if you say, do you know where it is? They say, oh yeah, it's over there on the table. Or if they're talking about a restaurant and you say, oh yeah, it's down the street. I drive by it every day. You can't miss it. You can't miss it. That's something that you say when you're describing something outside. You're maybe giving directions and you say, oh yeah, it's down the street. Go a couple blocks down the street. You can't miss it. Or if you don't know where it is, you could say, oh no, I'm sorry, I haven't seen it. Or, oh no, I'm sorry, I haven't been there before. And then the last one, are you ready? This one is asking you if you are ready to go, or if you're ready for something specific. Usually this is used in the context of if you're going outside somewhere and you need to get ready. And so you say, oh, are you ready? And you would say, no, if you're not ready yet, you could say, no, give me a few minutes. Or no, I need about 5 minutes. If you are ready, you can say, yeah, be there in a second. Or even, yeah, be there in a minute, which would mean you're about ready, but you need like a few more seconds to get there. And so that is how we use, are you ready? Or that's how we respond to, are you ready? So these 8 questions are questions that are asked by native speakers all the time. And then I gave examples of how a native speaker would respond to these questions. So I hope that this was helpful for you. So be sure to like or subscribe and share with someone else who would find these 8 questions helpful. Again, with our 8 questions that native speakers ask and responses that a native speaker would give.